Welcome to another episode of Quantum Growth for Financial Advisors. It's your host, Jon Dutton, here with the Double J's today. My friend Jon Randall is joining me. I don't even think I call you a repeat offender anymore, Jon. Maybe you're co-host, maybe I don't know what you are, but we certainly, I think you're our most often guest on our show. So Johnny, maybe you could just say a quick hello to our audience.
It's great to be on and not just be a repeat offender, but a permanent offender. These are really fun, and we get a lot of great feedback about them. So we've got more stuff to give away. So
Love it.
Keep your seatbelts fastened out there.
Yes, exactly. And this one, as you all know, Johnny and I can go deep and get going. Once we get going, sometimes these get a little long. Today's going to be a little shorter one. And it's in a bit of a series of the next handful of podcasts is going to be with some of the founding members. And I'd like to announce that Jon Randall, like Ray Kelly, who you all got to meet on my last podcast or hear from again, is another one of the founding members of the Financial Advisor Success Syndicate. So I'm super excited to have Jon as part of the group. Another person that I came to and was like, I'm in, before I could finish the thought, and completely got, the value that we're trying to provide. So Jon, maybe for our listeners, you can just talk a little bit about the Financial Advisor Success Syndicate and kind of what intrigued you and why you're kind of volunteering to be part of it and give back to the financial advisor community.
Well, it's so great to get some of the best in the industry together to give away value in this community. You know, I think about my journey of helping other financial advisors with their practice. Of course, what we do is tactical growth, how to really grow the business from where you are today to double, triple, quadruple, 10x. But, as I look across the industry, our industry gets a bad reputation. Right? Financial advisors are known for making a lot of money, hanging out on the golf course, not doing a lot for their clients. And I was spoiled starting the business with learning from John Cutton and so many awesome advisors in Long Island. I think about just the people that were around the office there. I mean, it was like the all-star team. And when I moved to North Carolina back in 2004, there's wonderful people here, but I kind of got a taste of just what goes on in the real world of the rest of the country outside this little bubble I grew up in the industry. And there's not a lot going on. There wasn't a lot of value being given by advisors to their clients. And a lot of them weren't really growing because they weren't giving a lot of value. So I am so excited to give everything we do away to help people, to help advisors do more for their clients and help the reputation of our industry turn positive again. Not be the old advisor that's playing golf, making money, and not helping clients, to be the extraordinary advisors out there that are making a difference. Some of you are out there listening to this, trying to get better. The people we coach are absolutely that. And we want more people to get better so we have a positive influence on the financial advisor industry. That's why I'm all in and going to be giving away tons of value in FASS.
Oh my God, I hate speaking with you sometimes. I feel like I'm so boring and I have no energy. I love you always bring that energy and your A game. So I actually love doing this with you, but you make me feel bad about myself sometimes. I need to be more energetic, right, everybody? Yes, I do. So Johnny, when you think about to our listeners, my thought is that this is a podcast, but it's also going to go out in social media as well, maybe to some of the folks who are not yet listening to the podcast, Quantum Growth for Financial Advisors. So maybe you could just give a quick 90-second infomercial. I know you're the founder and CEO of Extraordinary Advisors, Financial Advisors. So what exactly do you do? How do you help advisors from a coaching perspective, and what could the advisors expect by being part of the Financial Advisor Success Syndicate, which again is a free community, right? So this is not, I just want to be really clear to our listeners, this is not Jon's paid coaching. He has a very successful coaching company. This is Jon and the other founding members and myself wanting to put something out to the community where advisors can learn in a safe environment, abundance mentality, and get maybe not quite the experience they get by hiring Jon directly, but an experience that we believe may be as good or better than what a lot of the paid coaching programs are out there. And that's really what we're trying to build. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about kind of the type of advisors that you coach. And I know you do a lot, but maybe some of the specialties or the things that you think you do best as a coaching firm.
Yeah, really at Xavate.coach, we help with the tactics to grow the financial advisor practice. So you look at the fundamentals of any business can grow by doing more with existing customers and getting new customers. So I don't care if you're doing 100,000 or 100 million out there. Everyone needs to be doing more with clients. And within that, you've got the client experience. How are they being serviced? What are the best of the best doing for their very best clients out there? How are they growing with their investment offerings? What is the value in the pricing that they have for their services? Same with financial planning, which is really catching on. The pricing in financial planning has been skyrocketing in the last few years. So what does that offering look like? What are others doing there to grow, to help clients more and to add more revenue to your practice? A core fundamental, no matter how small or how big you are, those growth tactics of what's working with others, it's a lot of what we do and a lot of what we're going to give away. Now, to duplicate your best clients and attract more people at the top of your book is always going to be essential too. Again, if you're small, you're large, even if you're more of a CEO like John Cutton and you have advisors on your team, you need to help your advisors with these tactics. How do they duplicate the top people? How do they get out of trying to get anybody, narrowing to really having a niche or 1, 2, maybe 3 maximum niches to try and attract new people? That's really, I mean, what's working there is what we teach and what we help advisors go execute and do. Now, at a higher level, when people get over $1 million, which a lot of people I work with are doing multiple millions, over 5 million, a lot over 10 million, the game changes a little bit. Comes more about mergers, acquisitions, constantly recruiting advisors. How do you work those deals? How do you land those deals? How to acquire people, other advisors? Still the average age of advisors around 60. Been like that for a while. I think the market turmoil back in 2022 is probably signaling to a lot of people that, hey, I should probably do something, different here. But the value of my practice is declining, and I think we're going to start to see the wave of older advisors really start selling here in the next, really 5 to 10 years should be a massive wave of acquisitions. So really getting ready for those, managing capacity, how to land those deals, how those deals are working. That's a lot of what we get into too. So a lot of me and some of the people, coaches on our team are people that have coached or built up a really large practice over 5 million. They help advisors with these things too, but that's a lot of what we'll get into. So growth fundamentals, doing more with clients, how to attract new clients, and then some higher level nuances of advanced things like mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, no, well said. And, our listeners have heard us, you and I and Ray and others talk about, right, the concept of simple, complex, simple, right? And, simplicity on the far side of complexity, right? One of the really cool things about working with Jon is he himself was a very successful advisor, sold his business. But in addition to that, he's coached so many advisors, right, that you get to a point where there's not much that you haven't seen, right? So when I think about most of the members that we envision being part of the Financial Advisor Success Syndicate, it's really going to be like-minded advisors with an abundant mentality that are nice. And I want to talk to you about that. Ray really liked the no jerk rule that he went deep on the no jerk rule. We're all on the same page with the no jerk rule, but really, whether you're a $750,000 a year producer, which is kind of like the minimum advisor that we believe will be admitted into this kind of free community, or you're a 10 or 15 or $25 million a year producer, Jon's seen it, right? And his team has seen it. And all of the founding members, quite frankly, of the syndicate have had experience in working with advisors like that, or themselves are an advisor like that. So you're able to get that simplicity on the far side of complexity, where I think what will be really cool is there'll be something for $1 million producer, but there also will be a lot of takeaways for a $10 million producer. And, maybe you could talk a little bit, Jon, because I know this was one of the things that you were very excited about, is this kind of abundance mentality mindset and the sharing of best practices with not just the founding members of the syndicate, but other coaches and professionals that we plan to bring in the future, and then also the members themselves, hopefully building relationship, community, and learning from each other.
Yeah, there's real power in the community. And what's nice about the founding members, I mean, it's nice to have all these people. I mean, look, everyone works with Cut and Wealth. There's a lot of connectivity there, but as you grow, you're going to need all these different voices, all these different resources, and to get value in this community is great. But you're learning just as much from some of the other people in here, and there's real power in that. And I see that just within our coaching group. It's one of the things that our clients say they value most. It's just being connected to other people like them that are dealing with the same challenges, that are in a similar production range and trying to figure things out. And someone says, you know, hey, everyone, I cracked the code on this, or hey, I tried this and it really worked. Everyone else might want to try it too. So if you're giving something that's working for you, I'm telling you, you're going to get 100 great ideas back. So it's not just the founding members giving value, giving ideas. I'm telling you, there's so much power in all these other people. And we all have our little bubbles, right? As financial advisors, some of you are totally independent on an island. Some of you might have some people, you know, some may even have groups that you get together and kind of share best practices. But even the ones I know that have those groups, they're seeking others. You know, they're looking for, hey, who are other people maybe in other parts of the country that aren't, you know, where I am, that might have some neat ideas too. You know, I don't have access to them because, you know, I live in Florida. What are people in California doing? That's going to be a neat aspect too. So being part of this, being nice, just sharing, that to me, that's a big part of the abundance mentality. And look, that's why I say, you know, for me, I don't mind giving everything away. Like, I didn't make any of this up. I've just organized information that I've learned with myself and helping a lot of advisors grow really, really fast. I've just organized information and share it and help people execute on it. So any great information you have out there, I'm telling you that there's other advisors are going to have phenomenal info that you can learn from. So give a little bit away, and I'm telling you, you're going to get 100 great ideas back. And that's the real power in the FASS.
Yeah, love it. And I think one of the things that we're all very committed to, and we've talked a lot about, is this no jerk rule, right? It's my favorite rule. We all like, yes, there's a no jerk rule. What you know, tell me what that means to you, and kind of like what you think, because the syndicate won't be for every advisor, right? If you're an advisor listening in, to our advisors listening in, I should say, Jon, who do we want in the syndicate? Who's going to benefit from it? What type of person do you think is the right type of person, an advisor to consider becoming a member of our free community?
Well, let's talk about the abundance mentality and scarcity mentality, because the scarcity mentality often leads to, you know, the jerks. So abundance mentality is, there's way more out there than any of us can ever handle. Okay. As a financial advisor, your business could never handle the demand that's out there now. And the demand is growing. There's more and more Americans need help. There's more and more people with over 7 figures, and there's less and less advisors in the industry, a lot less. So plenty to go around. There's plenty of people to buy. The wave is coming. All right. So the scarcity mentality is, oh, I don't want anyone else to know my special ways. There is no special ways. Like there's nothing that you have that's so special that no one else is going to have. There's somebody out there already doing it better than you. So you've got to get through that. That's a scarcity mentality. The other is, I don't want anyone else to know these special secrets, because, you know, they might get a client or they might get an acquisition in my area, and I don't want anyone in my area, even if they're at another firm, to be associated with this. So that scarcity mentality, that there's not going to be enough, I need to hoard it all for myself, and I'm not going to be nice to somebody else. I think too, you know, I see the, you know, really like bully kind of behavior out there. It's insecure people just acting in a way where that's how they kind of flex their muscles and feel important, is by, you know, being jerks, not being nice to others, putting other people down. That oh, you're only at, you know, 800,000, I'm at 8 million, but you know what, one day you were at 0, right? Everyone was at 0 that's in here. So I think it really just goes back to that. Hey, this is a community to give away value, to learn. This is a learning community, and there's really, no secrets here. It's just what information you're going to take and implement in your business. That's what this is about. And if you have the mindset, there's way more to go around than you could ever handle, than the person in your town could ever handle, that all these businesses across the country could ever handle, more than anyone can ever handle, that it just makes it easier to say, you know what, let's all be friends, let's all help each other out, and at the end of the day, we'll have a great community. So that's more of the, how we should be acting. I think the opposite of that, the scarcity, that's where the jerks come out.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And we talk sometimes about knowers and learners, right? So we don't want any knowers. We don't want people who are like, I already know that, and et cetera. We want people who are lifetime learners that want to get better. And I think you said something really smart earlier, Jon, which is there are not a lot of new ideas. I mean, I don't want to say there are no new ideas, but it's like, hey, there's a way to grow a business. There's a way to grow people. There's a way to do mergers and acquisitions, right? And it's not science, it's art. And it's really just a matter of, we've gotten as a collective group, right, the founding members, and some of the folks that we plan to bring in as kind of that next tier of members that will help us lead this initiative. We've just gotten more at bats, right? We've
Yes.
seen more of it. In my case, I've done a lot of it. In your
Yep.
case, hundreds of advisors do these things. So you get that experience level, and then you get that simplicity, and why not share it, right? And the really, really cool thing, and I don't think I hit this when I had Ray on, but we sat down, and who knows what this turns into long term, right? I mean, this has, it's a very beginning thing, but the syndicate will probably weave and take a different path that we can't even envision what it is just yet. But when we all looked at it, we were like, hey, should we charge for this right now? Is this something we want to do? And we all kind of like, nah, let's just give. Let's just help.
Yeah.
Let's give back to the community. Let's
Yes.
change. I know it sounds corny, but let's change the financial services
Yes.
industry so all advisors can grow more and think abundantly. Because as you said earlier, there's this kind of, oh, so-and-so's in the corner office, and she or he is not someone that you can talk to because they're untouchable. And it's all BS. I mean, the reality of it is it's about, right, like taking these ideas. Ray's famous thing, right? 10% of adult learning is knowledge, right? Learning from the syndicate or our podcast or reading books, et cetera. 20% is coaching yourself or having a coach actually help you execute. And let's face it, Jon, 70% of success is actually doing it, making the mistakes, and then hopefully, increasing or speeding up the learning curve by being around other people, who've been there before. So I'm a big Ed Milet fan, listened to all his podcasts, read his book, Power of One More, and all that. And I think it's him, and probably many say it, but, ultimately your level of success has a lot to do with the 5 people you spend the most time around, right? And I think about our founding members who are all very successful in their own respective fields. How do you not get better by having more connectivity to those people and all of the information they've consumed over their 20, 30, in some cases, almost 40-year career? So it's going to be super exciting. I've got 2 last questions for you, Jon, and then we'll wrap quick for our listeners. So, and I don't know what your answer is going to be here because we've never talked about it, but I'd like to know. So fast forward, it's 5 years. We haven't even launched the syndicate yet. Although by the time this drops, we might have just launched it. But it's 5 years from now. So we're 2000, what would that be? 28, right? Somewhere late 2028, let's say. If you could think it through a bit, what's your hope? What can you envision the syndicate looking like? How many members? What kind of work? Like what's going on inside of the syndicate in 5 years?
I foresee thousands, plural, of top financial advisors in the industry flocking here just to learn. It's a community of learning here. And it's, I think, just a best practice sharing hub. A lot of the, you think about the financial advisor business, all the people in this, founding group, they're like all the components of a business to make it successful. So all the things you're going to need are going to be here, and more people are going to flock to it. So, we've just, invented it, and we're just getting the word out, just starting to, but really, I mean, there's not going to be a better place to get value. I mean, this is going to be the greatest place to get value in the entire industry. And I think thousands, plural, I think one day there'll be 5 figures of advisors just flocking to this to learn and to get more out of it. And that's really what I see. And it's exciting to have a community of the best just to give away value. There's nothing like it in our industry, nothing.
Yeah, we're aligned, and it's technology, right? Like, think about it. And not to say I love going to conferences and meeting people and having speakers, et cetera, but you don't need to leave your iPad, right?
Yes,
And
that's what's going to be great. Ask a question, learn. Yes.
Yeah, like access to yourself, to David Grau Jr., to Ray Kelly, to Anton Anderson, Frank, Tina, myself. Did I leave anybody out? I think I hit everybody there.
Yeah, and we're personally going to be on there giving value, right? It's not like a AI robot is going to be posting for, like, we're actually going to be contributing.
That's what I'm saying. It's and it costs nothing, and you don't need to go on a plane and stay in a hotel and have the time away from the family or the expense for that travel. And it's ongoing, and it's always there, right? So I think it's going to be a disruptor. I hope it's going to be a disruptor, and super excited about the work that we could do collectively and the value that we could provide. So lastly, Jon, is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have, or any kind of final remarks that you might have for our listeners?
I would just say, aligning with Ray Kelly's knowledge, 10%, coaching guidance, 20%, 70% doing, there's a lot of great learning from that. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of knowledge floating around in this, right? And we at Activate.coach, we organize knowledge on how to grow. We share it with people. We coach people on how to execute on it, but it's that 70, it's doing it, because you're all unique out there. Every practice is unique and different. Yes, there's some fundamentals that apply to everyone, but your version of the story is going to be yours. So the way you execute, the way you do these things, that's what's going to be neat. And I think that's going to be some of the best value that's going to come out of this, is not just the value and the guidance, but it's the, hey, I tried this, I hit a wall, it didn't work, I'm striking out, or hey, I did this and it really worked. Oh my gosh, I wish I did this 10 years ago. The execution on these ideas, I think, is what's going to be big. And so, yeah, there'll be some knowledge will be interesting at first, but to really execute on and share how it's going with other people, I think that's going to be a really neat part of the value.
Yeah, well said, Jon. And I'd end with this. My belief is, if you're an advisor, right, and as you join the Financial Advisor Success Syndicate, and we'll put a link to how to join, and you do have to qualify. So there is a questionnaire that you go through to qualify right now. Depending on this, when this goes out, you'll either be put on a waiting list, or you'll go through the qualification period. But here's what I think the biggest difference is going to be. I go back to, right, the people who have the most influence of you, the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I genuinely think it's going to change advisors' mindset and change their thinking, right? So as you were talking, Jon, I listened to John Maxwell, had the author on a podcast today. Today is, what's today, Jon? We're recording this August 7th, 8th, something like that.
9th.
So if you go back to today, he had the author of Atomic Habits on his podcast. It released today. And to make a very long story short, I've already sent that podcast to all of the folks in my organization that are leaders inside of my organization. Okay. As the syndicate comes to light, I will be posting that podcast in the syndicate with some thoughts and remarks, which will ultimately change people's mindset. I'm just using that as a recent relevant example. You're going to be getting the same thing as to what's on Jon Randall's mind and his client's mind. And without listing everyone again, all of the syndicate members, so that it'll elevate your level of thinking, so that, listen, in my wealth management practice, as of the end of this past month, we broke 9 billion of assets under management, right? And we're a vertical firm, not horizontal, which we'll talk some about. It's a pretty good number. I even pinch myself, right? I'm thinking differently. I'm thinking about how do I get to 30 billion in the next 7 years? Okay. That's a different type of thinking than someone down the hall from you that might be thinking about how do I go from 1 million to 2 or 5 to 10, right? And for whatever level you're at and where you're at, if you constantly have other corner office people, right, if that makes sense, who are virtually available to you to change your level of thinking a little bit, to think about what's possible, and then to be able to give you the step-by-step process of how to do it, and a community wrapped around you a little bit to give you a little accountability and a little kind of success stories, et cetera. Man, I think, we can transform the wealth management industry and do a whole bunch of good, right? So when we think about, we're getting clear on this to our listeners about the mission, our mission very much is, it's not only to help financial advisors grow, but John started with this, is the more we help a financial advisor grow, the more clients you'll help, which means the more Americans that we actually help get better advice and reach their own financial goals and have prosperity and grow to be able to give back. So I know it sounds a little corny, but it's a bit of a crusade. The more people we help together, right? If I could help you and John and the team can help you get one more client, that one more client, you're going to make a big difference in that client's life, right? We could do that for 10,000 advisors and we can help everyone get one more client a year. It's 10,000 families we help. We got to get 10 more clients a year. Is that 1 million or is that 100,000? I'm terrible with math. That's 1 million families, right? 10,000 times 10. I'm great with math, by the way, but that's 1 million families that we can impact. And when you just start thinking that way from an abundant mentality, we can help a lot of advisors. Equally as importantly, we can help a whole bunch of families and Americans get better financial advice as well. So
that's such a great why. And I tell you, that's really what compelled me. I loved being in practice, but I'd love 10 times more helping other advisors in their practice, because I knew that, okay, me and my advisors can only really impact, maybe 1,000, couple thousand people, but through the advisors we coach, millions of Americans are better off because they're working with a great advisor that's helping them. And you're right, the more that we can get better as a community of financial advisors, the better off America is. It's a huge need. Like I said, the need is growing for Americans. The number of advisors is decreasing. So they need you. They really, really need you out there. And you're right, millions of people are going to be much better off because of this.
Yep, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to help a lot of people. And by the way, as an advisor, you'll help a lot of people and you'll drive some profit to your business as well and help, right? Sometimes charity starts at home as well. So thanks for listening, everybody, to another episode of Quantum Growth for Financial Advisors. We will put a link to how you'll join the Financial Advisor Success Syndicate and put in an application, et cetera. If you can't tell, I almost matched John's excitement about this, which is no easy thing to do. But this is kind of like my passion project right now. And, I'd ask you to give it a shot. There'll be some kinks in the beginning. We are not perfect, but our intentions are good. We want to help. We want to provide value. So join, please be part of it and help us with this crusade to not only help you as an advisor, but help Americans around the country. So make it a great day. And thanks again for listening to another episode of Quantum Growth for Financial Advisors.